All right, here we are, everybody. Welcome to the CVC OEI Improving Online CTE Pathways Speaker Series on developing and strengthening online career education. Today, live captioning is available for this webinar, and if you'd like to see the subtitles, go down to that Zoom toolbar at the bottom of the Zoom window, choose the More button with the 3 dots, and select Show Subtitles. And then you are ready to go. For those of you who are not familiar with the Pathways grants, the California Virtual Campus Online Education Initiative, or CVC OEI, funded 70 grants at 68 colleges. CVC OEI has awarded a total of $27.5 million since the grants began in July 2019. Funding from the California State Legislature is how we made this all possible by way of the California Community College's Chancellor's Office. Now, the goals that the CVC OEI has had in mind are to develop innovative online programs in career and technical education. Those goals specifically are to lead to short-term industry valued certificates or credentials or programs. And the other goal, enable students in pathways developed by the California Online Community College, also known as CalBrite, to continue his or her education in a career pathway offered by an existing community college like yours. Today's theme for our series is social services, and I'm your moderator, Kevin Kelly. I'll be leading us through the event. We'll have Sean Davis from Miracosta College, and he'll talk about their social work and human services program. And then we'll have Michelle Korkowski from the College of the Siskiyous, and she'll talk about putting their administration of justice program online. Each college will have about 7 to 10 minutes to present. And we ask that you enter your questions in the chat as soon as you think of them so that we can farm them out to the speakers at the end. And we will have time for the robust Q&A. I know you all have burning questions you want to ask these two speakers, so we'll get to those, but we'll start with Sean. So Sean, let's kick us off. Tell us all about the great work that you're doing at Miracosta.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me today on such a big day for everyone. And I'm here to talk about the CTE Pathways grant and what it was able to do to help support an effort at Miracosta College that I was leading to create a social work and human services program. This was a brand new program, something that I had thought about creating because it was just students that I teach sociology, and a lot of students are like, well, I want to major in sociology. What can I do with that degree? And social work just seems like a really viable and important and significant way to contribute to your community. We know a lot of graduates come back to Miracosta after graduating with a 4-year degree. And so this was an opportunity to have some homegrown social workers. And so it started off with that idea. And when I learned about this grant opportunity, I was like, well, we could try to make it all online and adhere to the guidelines of the grant and try to make it happen. And we were awarded the grant, thankfully. And it has been a huge support in this effort. So we could go to the next slide. Of the project overview. The next slide here, yeah. So it is a fully online degree path, brand new to Miracosta, just launched this fall with our 2 courses that I'll talk about in a little bit. We had tremendous community support from inside Miracosta and outside. We had people, mayors and local officials write letters of support for this grant effort. And it has just been really, really well received by everyone in the Miracosta community and district. This program is housed in the sociology department, as there's not like a standalone social work degree and program that exists currently in our system. So it is a CE, what we call it locally, CE, career education, or CTE for everybody, or for most other folks. but it is a CE program that exists inside of a GE program, which is sociology. And the important thing there is that there is a precedent for that, like a business administration, for example, has accounting, right? So there's those CE programs within general education. We have a website here. I've shared the slides with our moderators, so they'll be able to provide these to people, and we could put those in the chat during the Q&A, so you can look at all of the different links that are embedded in this presentation. We can go to the next slide. So the Associate in Arts for Transfer is the degree that was created with the help of this grant. We can go to the next slide. And why this is really important to establish this AAT in social work and human services is that it qualifies students who graduate with this 2-year degree to be social worker ones for the County of San Diego. Now, of course, there's that transfer aspect of it that is going to help students move on to 4-year universities like San Diego State, Cal State San Marcos locally, and pursue a degree in whatever discipline they want, whatever major that they have, but also to go on and get that preparatory training in social work and human services that could eventually lead to pursuing an MSW, a PhD in social work, or a DSW, which are some of the options in that field. And what's great about this is that a social worker one, as you could see there, has that salary that starts between $43,000 and $55,000 around there annually. So it gives students an opportunity to really get a livable wage, right? And right out of this 2-year program, while still having that option of pursuing more education in that or other areas. You can go to the next slide. So the SDSU connection, these 2 classes that we developed, Social Work and Human Services 110 and Social Work and Human Services 120, do articulate to the courses that are required for major at SDSU. As somebody who is a instructional faculty member and not a counselor, I'm not going to speak too much on this, but we were excited that it was approved for this purpose, so that students who want to continue their education at SDSU in social work will have some of those requirements taken care of before they even start. We can go to the next. The academic map, what you'll see on the next slide here is that this was created, and I have a link to it there, which shows the completely online degree pathway for this program and for the AAT in social work and human services. And this is in line with the larger project of guided pathways, and what we call locally, the initiative is academic and career pathways at Maricosta College. And so, you know, all of our programs have to develop these maps. So we're able to accomplish that in addition to the degree and the 2 courses in this grant period. So the 2 courses, we have 2 courses for this that we developed with support of the grant, and they are Social Work and Human Services 110. We can go to the next slide, and Social Work and Human Services 120. The Social Work and Human Services 110 course is the intro course. So this gives students a basic overview of what is expected in social work, the history of social work, the theories involved, and also what the practical day-to-day looks like. To add to that and complement that, we have the fieldwork and practicum in social work and human services course, where students actually do field hours. They go to a human service delivery site. And of course, right now that's mostly in a remote fashion. However, they can also, when we're able, go to an on-ground site to get those experience hours. And what was really great about this was that we used our service learning office, and they partnered with us to connect students that are in these courses to local organizations that they were already working with through service learning. And then they also branched out and extended their network to include more organizations that would fit what we're trying to accomplish in this program. So they've been a great partner with these courses and in the development of the course outline of record and in the development of these pathways and the development of the degree. Our articulation officers, and I say plural because we had one that was interim while ours was on sabbatical, and the permanent articulation officer, as well as our technical writer, they've all been instrumental in helping us create this online pathway and build a strong program from its foundation. And so what I want to highlight here was a big benefit for having the grant was the instructional design support that we got, and we were able to get these courses aligned with the CVC course design rubric. And we have tremendous courses. Like, these courses are so beautiful and accessible and just are really innovative, fresh. And so I've just heard nothing but good things, and just a review of it on my own. I'm very, very envious of the way these courses look and the student experience that that we're delivering through these courses. I do not teach these courses. We have a counselor who is an associate faculty member at our college, Taylor Torona, and he has just been really great in helping me write these courses, teaching these courses, and being involved in the onboarding for this program as well. We can go to the last slide since we have a minute left. So there have been challenges. I gotta say, I'm sure the challenges are common among all of the folks here, hopefully, but the grant management and reporting procedures, you know, as an instructional faculty member, it's just a new world for me, being a principal investigator. So that's been very challenging, but I have received support from our foundation. Building a new program during the time of COVID obviously is a huge challenge, and delays, and just thankfully this program is fully online. And then the third challenge I would say is, again, as a principal investigator, and I take full accountability for this, is coordinating a grant team for the first time, and the organizational efforts that are there, in addition to my other duties as a faculty member at the college, was very difficult and continues to be difficult. But I'm really happy that these courses are available, and this degree is available, and that we received, you know, the grant funding to make this happen. I will say one more thing, just give me one more thing, Kevin. That the course is completely filled up. The intro course had a wait list this semester. It's our first time to offering it. And, you know, we had a cap of 40, and there was at least 6, 7, or 8 students on the wait list. And the practicum class, which we encourage students to take at the same time as the intro course, just because they complement each other, was about halfway full. So we look forward to continued growth in that class, and we look forward to seeing what our graduates can do when we graduate our first cohort in about a year and a half. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Fantastic tale of success. We love it when the classes fill up. And now, without further ado, let's hear from Michelle at College of the Siskiyous.
Gosh, I almost forgot to unmute myself. Rookie mistake. Hey, everybody. My name is Michelle Korkowski, and I am the faculty in the Administration of Justice program at College of the Siskiyous. I'm also the principal investigator for the IOP grant. And like Sean just mentioned, this is my first try at administering a grant. I had a significant role in writing the grant. So it's been challenging in a lot of the same ways that Sean mentioned. I'm also a retired police officer, so that was my first career. So I kind of bring that application of the law into the classes that we've managed to put online. So next slide, please. So College of the Siskiyous is one of the smallest colleges in California, and it's also the northernmost. So it's located in Siskiyou County, which borders with Oregon to the north, and it's comprised of a really large geographical area with these really small towns. and small populations. They're somewhat remote because of the large size of the county. So there's always been a problem for our students to attend face-to-face classes. And so we've been, over the last couple of years, developing our online pathways to help provide access for students that couldn't make the treacherous sometimes drive to the campus. So with this grant opportunity, we wanted to enhance those online offerings and increase the educational opportunities for our communities. And we decided to focus in two areas. One is our area high school students, and the second is our law enforcement officers. Because this is such a remote area, our nearest town is an hour away, city, if you will, Redding, California, in Shasta County. Because we're so remote, we have trouble in our law enforcement agencies recruiting and retaining officers. So we've had a lot of vacancies that have not been filled, and it's been really problematic for our law enforcement agencies. So the previous sheriff of Siskiyou County was really supportive in getting this program online for a bunch of reasons that I'll talk about shortly. So next slide. Okay, so we have had an existing pathway for high school students to enroll in our ADJ, Administration of Justice courses, and then transfer to College of the Siskiyous with the ultimate goal of obtaining a degree and then attending our law enforcement academy, which we have here on our Weed campus. Yes, Weed is a town. But the online offerings were always limited. So we had a couple of classes, but not our whole program online. So we wanted to strengthen that pathway and make it more robust by offering all of our ADJ courses online and improving the marketing of our online program to our area high schools with a clearer pathway toward that career in law enforcement. Second, and equally important, is our goal to provide a college education to those currently employed in law enforcement professions. So you may not know this, but most law enforcement agencies only require a high school education for their applicants. Surprising in this day and age. Let that sink in. So recent discussions on criminal justice reform have included increasing educational standards for officers. And a few agencies in the state of California now require 60 units in order to have an applicant to qualify to apply for that job. But the majority still only require a high school diploma. So Los Angeles Police Department, San Francisco Police Department only require a high school diploma. So a primary barrier that we want to address is that for those currently employed in the law enforcement fields, it's difficult for them to attend conventional face-to-face classes. Okay, they're not conducive to the schedules of most law enforcement officers who work rotating shifts, who frequently get subpoenaed for court, who get called into work for special events or special incidents. And then like the rest of us, they have family and community obligations. So those access limiting factors that we identified, as well as these criminal justice reforms to close educational gaps, are the reason that we felt a fully online ADJ program could be a solution. So additionally, obtaining a college degree can also enhance the promotional opportunities for those in law enforcement, increasing their professional growth as well as their rate of pay. But most agencies do require that in order to promote, an officer have a degree, and to work up into the administration, at least a bachelor's and even a master's degree to do so. So basically the cops that are out there that don't have degrees are kind of stuck. They didn't have access to a college education, but they needed a college education. And so the online program is targeting them primarily. So a caveat in defense of those hardworking officers that are out there that don't have a college degree, I just want to say that possessing a college degree does not equate with being a better officer per se. However, research does demonstrate that college educated officers are better at writing police reports. They generate fewer complaints, and they're less likely to use force to gain compliance. Okay, so the goals that we have, I've got them outlined here. I won't read those all. They'll be available to if you're interested, but we had some pretty ambitious goals. And I was the one in charge of putting all of the courses online in our administration of justice program. I'm a one-woman show here, and it was my baby from the get-go. So I had to learn to play nice with the rest of the college and get their cooperation in achieving some of the goals that we identified when we first started out and applied for this grant. So we took a holistic campus-wide approach to streamlining student onboarding, and many different departments on the college campus had a role in improving their processes for different contact points for students throughout our online community. So students that needed to enroll in the courses, we had a really cumbersome way of doing that. It was really difficult to get for students to just enroll in classes. So we've improved that process, and we also wanted to make sure that all of our courses were fully accessible and in line with the course design rubric. So I've been doing that, and I did have the opportunity to work with Helen Graves, little plug for her, at the OEI as an instructional designer. And I did have one of my courses badged last year, and it's offered now through the exchange. So I was really proud of that. And it's given me the background to develop the rest of the program online. So we wanted to provide counseling services online. So we had faculty members in counseling trained on the use of Cranium Cafe. We want to become a certified POCR campus. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but we did really streamline a lot of the processes for students, and that was our goal. So next slide, please. As it's been mentioned by previous presenters, it is like herding cats, literally. The dead kitty on the back of that horse is our IT guy. He resigned right in the middle, or retired right in the middle of COVID. So we had to bring his department up to speed with what we were trying to do with the grant and the deliverables there. And we also had a series of retirements in HR. We've had faculty retirements. And so one of our POCR people is retiring at the end of this semester. So we're going to have to find a faculty member to retrain. But an unforeseen problem that we had that we didn't have last year was that we're currently negotiating a collective bargaining agreement. And so faculty stipends for training have been put on hold, which means new POCRs are not currently able to review the last two courses for alignment with the course design rubric. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but I'm hopeful that within the next 2 months we can finish that. There's only 2 courses out of the 8 that I've put online that need that review. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, the obvious COVID-related problems, communication problems, not knowing where people are or how to get a hold of them outside of email, just the general confusion and chaos that I'm sure every campus has experienced. Okay, next slide. So let's focus on the good stuff. We've accomplished a lot, I think. We had our 18-unit certificate of achievement that I developed approved by the Chancellor's office, so yay. And all of our 80J courses and for our certificate, for our local degree, and for our transfer degree have all been aligned in such a way that if a student decides, oh, I just want to get my COA, and they enroll in courses, that transfers directly into the local degree or the transfer degree. So we've aligned that whole process. So if a student along the way decides, hey, I really want to get that bachelor's degree in criminal justice, they can do so without having to redo a lot of the coursework in the program. So we're really excited about that. Like I said, we've streamlined a lot of the processes, online loan applications, as well as videos to instruct students on how to complete those loan applications successfully, online secure payments, e-transcripts, single sign-on, counseling service has been rocking it online. And we had a huge marketing campaign that we just launched. It was a little delayed, so we didn't get it out at the beginning of the fall semester, but this is an example of the poster that we sent to law enforcement agencies encouraging their officers to enroll. for the reasons that I've mentioned previously. So success, we launched online, fully online this fall, and enrollments have been down. So unlike Sean, we haven't really seen the results of our marketing yet, which we're very hopeful to start trickling in more students in the spring semester. So we want to thank the CVC OEI for the assistance that they provided to us at College of the Siskiyous. And that's all I had. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. One woman show is more like a one-person army. It sounds like you're doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think we have time for maybe one question for each of you. So maybe we'll start with you, if you can keep the answers short so we can get to more of the questions. Diane Walker asked, are your high school students accessing through articulation, through credit by exam, or dual enrollment for the ADJ program? Michelle.
I'm sorry, what?
One of the participants asked, are your high school students accessing through articulation, through credit by exam, or dual enrollment for your ADJ program?
Well, we started off outside of dual enrollment. So I was teaching the classes at the high school. So it wasn't really dual enrollment in the strict sense. And yes, we did have a lot of high school students come down. And actually one of our more recent success stories is we had a Wairika High School student who took online classes from me and then transferred and got his AA degree locally at College of the Siskiyous, and then went into our law enforcement academy, graduated from the law enforcement academy, and got a job at the Wairika Police Department, where he's now successfully working in his chosen career. So yeah, we do that. That's the pathway that we're trying to enforce. But there's also a greater need with those currently in law enforcement, I think. So yeah.
Perfect, thank you. And Sean, back to you, sir. We had a question from Kevin Scritchfield. Do you include any way for students to participate in any applied, place-based, or service learning within your program or community?
Yeah, good question. And I addressed that in the chat. And I think that was probably before I got to the part about the Social Work and Human Services 120 course, which is the practicum fieldwork course, and that partnership that we have with our service learning office and pairing students with a local organization.
Perfect. And they did have another question, a follow-up. Will there be other courses in the SWHS pathway?
At this time, there's no planned courses. Those were the ones that were required for the degree and for transfer. So we don't, but we are thinking ahead in terms of like students come back, or even those that have graduated with a bachelor's or MSW, maybe some continuing education courses for those working professionals in the field, and potentially offering those at MiraCosta.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you, Michelle, for your time and sharing your experiences. And thank all of you for participating in our session today. And we have more of these, so come on back. I think on the next slide, we have a list of the total number of, oh, not this one, but we have more. So go ahead and check the Basecamp for the next webinar in the series. We also have some blog posts coming out this month from some folks who aren't conducting webinars. And if you go to the cvc.edu website and go to the Pathways Grant pages, there are some small video vignettes of some of the success stories that we've had throughout the four quarters of work that you all have been putting in. And those of you who have not been part of the Pathways Grant program, we're glad to have you here, and we hope that you'll join us for more. So have a great day. Everybody go vote if you haven't done it so far. See the thumbs up from Henry and others. So thank you. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Donna.
Thanks, everybody.